I love those string trimmers. They do a beautiful job edging the lawn, trimming along the fence line, but I got a problem. I've got a creek running through my pasture, and I keep everything mowed out here. But of course I can't get to the edge of the creek, and when we get a big rain, it washes the sides of the creek out, and I'm concerned that the mower will fall in there, so I need to stay away from it. So in the past, I've tried my basic weed eater, and you all probably know what happens since you're watching this video. Not good, not good at all. So I stop every 3 minutes, try to get this mess out of here, jams it all up. And so last fall, I got in the creek, walked the creek, took my hand loppers and went down the whole thing and cut the trees that were starting and trimmed everything back. Took me forever. There's got to be a better way. And here it is. Got 10-inch 3-blade cutter. Got a spacer. It's a 1-inch hole. If yours is smaller, you put that spacer in. I'll show you. And then we got the cup and the washers and the nut and everything for different types of weed trimmers. Let's go ahead and change that out. Now, depending upon what type of weed trimmer you have, it may vary a little bit, but most of them will have a hole somewhere in here, and this one's right back here. That'll hold the head so you can get this off. Now, in this kit, they provided a little flathead screwdriver. You can stick just about anything in there. You just stick that in and turn the head clockwise. If you're looking up at it, you're turning it clockwise. You hear that click? That just locked in the notch. So it's holding it in place. And these heads are different. Typically it's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Well, these are reversed. So you turn this to the right, and it screws right off. So we don't need this bump head anymore. And let me flip this over so you can see what's going on. Now you can see they've got a spacer on here and a splined shaft. So we're going to leave this in here, but this spacer has a rib around here, and that's 1 inch. Now when I put that screwdriver or this in that hole, you can see it comes right up through there. And you see the holes in there? That's what's locking it. This goes right in one of these, and that's what holds it in place. So we'll take one of our blades, and these blades that I got are pretty thick, pretty stout. And if you want, look in the description down below and you can order some for yourself. But you can put it on this way. If it starts wearing, you can flip it over. You can sharpen these blades. It doesn't matter with this attachment. But you can see that locks right on that hub there. So it's not going to move. If that's not there, this thing's just going to flop around in here. And you're going to feel it when you run it, because it's going to vibrate all over the place. If you don't have the 1 inch shaft, you got the 25 millimeter, they give you this spacer, and it goes right in here to make up for the difference. so this isn't sliding all over the place. So you get that on. In the kit, they also supplied an Allen wrench. You can use that instead of the screwdriver to hold that. It's a little stouter. So we've got the bottom piece. They sent another bottom piece. If yours is set up different, but we don't need that. But there's a washer that goes on top. And that'll press that blade in there and keep it so it doesn't come off that ring. And then the cap. And this one is fitting loose. So I'm going to go to the other kit they sent. And these fit all different kinds of weed trimmers. Now this, you can see it's got a little bow to it. That keeps pressure on it so the nut doesn't loosen up. And for the ribbed shaft, it's got ribs so it'll all lock in together. Beautiful. That's not going anywhere. And then our cap and the nut. And it's a lock nut. And to tighten it, again, you got to turn it counterclockwise. And it's already spinning because it's a lock nut. So I'm going to put this back in that hole. Hold that in place. Now if you've got a scrinch, you can use that. Otherwise, use a socket. Tighten this down. And that might not be the right nut for this. I'm going to try the other one. Yeah, this one's a lot better. So I had to mix and match. That other one was cross-threading a little bit. The threads are a little different. You want to be real careful with that. And you'll feel it if it's not right. Make sure your blade doesn't come off of that. See how that's sliding around? You got to make sure you're on that ring. And I'm not going to go crazy tightening this. That's good and snug. And the reason it's threaded backwards is because if it was threaded the other way, as this thing is spinning, it spins this way. As this thing is spinning, the nut would eventually work its way off. You get caught up in stuff down here, and it would unscrew the nut. So that's why they do them reverse threads. That's on there good and solid. And I switched to the other cup, and it fit a little better. So you can't trust parts in the bag. Might be the right ones in the right bag, but you just got to pay attention and use what fits. But that's the general idea how it works. You got to have that spacer at the bottom with the ring. Put your blade on if you need to. Use that spacer ring. Then you put the compression washer on. And I used the spline one on that. It fit perfect. Then the cup and the nut. And those nuts have different threads. This is a different thread right here than that nut. So pay attention. And I'll keep this all together for future use. And we've got a spare blade. Now let's go out and give that a try. And something that's neglected by a lot of people is greasing the head. You don't want this to dry out and go bad. So every once in a while, maybe once a year, if you got a still, they sell the grease in a little tube and it screws in and you can put it in. I'm not that fancy. I just take my grease gun and put this on there. Give it a little squeeze. Wipe off the excess. And that'll keep the head lubricated and from overheating. And you won't have to go out and buy a new string trimmer. See if she'll get away from the noise of the string trimmer, and if she won't, I'm gonna have to go put her up in the barn. How about that? Pretty slick. Wow. Like cutting through butter. Now what you see there took me about a half hour. You can see this blade is in perfect shape. Hardly looks used. Now I didn't hit any stones, but watch online. There's people selling blades that are real thin and they show that they bend and things, so you don't want that. The other thing is you have to run these blades on a straight shaft string trimmer. They will not work on a curved shaft string trimmer. All I have left to do now is take my mower along the edge, mulch that all up, and I'll be good to go. I hope this video was a help to you. If it was, give her a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.